And we want to thank you for joining the Four Tales podcast.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.
We're about to talk some comics and get a little bit controversial. Everything from indie books to movie deal level commercial. With no rehearsals when we converse to coerce you. And then we do the quick takes and try to get to the person. So join us and get your comic book a few more sales once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales. Once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales.
What? What?
I was ready for you to just turn it on, man.
Oh, God. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics, in collaboration with Fourth Wall Productions, respectfully brings to you the 183rd episode of the Four Tales podcast. I'm your host, Kyron Silva from Taurus Comics. Across the way is Mike Watson. No. That was last week. This is... let me think of what I got. The bluish red, I don't know, biographer of Ace Blade, Danny J. Quick. And together we are your two award-winning blurred comic creators here to help you find your next favorite comic. We are live via Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. So if you're listening and watching us live, thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review this podcast, though, because all your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience. What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. I've been reading some comics.
All right.
Been, working hard. This will be my third weekend in a row doing an event, so I'm tired. This is what's up.
You're too old for this shit.
I really am. I've been going to the gym. I've been going to kids events and all kinds of stuff. Oh, see, look. Now I'm yawning. I don't even do that.
No, you do that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I probably do. I need to get some sleep. But sleep can wait for later.
Okay. Mr. Fish is in the audience, says he's ready for at least 2 or 3 tales, maybe even 4.
Ooh, 4 tales.
I like that.
Ooh, I like it.
All right.
What's going on with you, Kyron?
Creating comic books, drawing comic books, dealing with pregnant cats.
The cat is pregnant.
I said cats.
The cats are pregnant. Bro,
2 of them.
They're not even your cats.
I know.
Are you taking care of pregnant cats that don't even belong to you?
Look, I already told you when these cats first came, I was like, I don't want these cats.
Yeah, I remember that. That's why I'm like, why are you talking about pregnant cats? Like, that's your responsibility.
Because they're now
yeah.
They're now our responsibility. Yeah, we got 2 cats. And the funny thing is, one of the cats is the daughter of the other cat that's already pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So this is the first cat's grandchildren in a way. And then she's pregnant also at the same time. So
what?
Yeah, I know. I don't know what to do anymore. I really don't know what to do with these damn cats. They won't go away.
I can give you a never mind. I think our guest is also a cat lover, so I'm not gonna say anything bad. I'm not gonna say anything bad about cats right now. Welcome to the show, Adam. We got
I didn't know you wanted me to bring him in. Okay, my bad.
No, that's where the segue was coming.
I'm sorry.
Creative Chief Officer of Summit Comics, dad, and dad, husband, writer, and city councilman, maybe? You're muted.
Hold on.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear him for some reason.
What happened? We could hear you fine before.
Adam, it says you muted yourself.
Yeah, I muted myself. Apologies. Okay. No, I am not a city councilman. I lost my 10 votes, so it was close enough. But 10 votes, man. It's yeah, it is what it is. You know, I really think change can be the most immediate change happens at a local level. So I don't think I'm quite out of My political career, just quite yet. I have interest in, helping out on a library board or something like that. We actually in December formed a nonprofit, my wife and I, because they pulled the funding for our town's congregate meals. So
Hmm.
we put together a huge Christmas holiday meal to get people some free food. And I think we did,
Okay.
it was 203 meals, 302 meals, whatever, one of those. But yeah, man, change happens most immediately locally. So I encourage you all to participate. And when I'm not doing that type of stuff, I'm writing comics or trying to raise a child or, you know,
Uh,
trying to be a good husband.
Katie Rose.
All, all tough jobs. You picked the four toughest jobs in the world, I think. No,
Yeah.
I can't even say that. There's some definitely hard jobs out here, man. But no, we appreciate you coming on, man. We've been seeing the things that Summit has been doing. I got to catch one of y'all's live streams a couple weeks ago, and entertaining bunch of creators for sure. So before we get started, just give us a quick background in your of you in comics. You've already told us a little bit about your jobs and your personal life, but tell us what got you into comics.
Yeah, so I've been into comics all my life, reading, writing, collecting at least. I collect with my father, who actually just dropped off this stack yesterday. There's a thing like E-Man, a
Oh,
bunch of Flash Gordons, but no, we collect and trade each other comics and all that. I've that's really been my whole life. Then I started writing just over 10 years ago. Um, trying to write, I guess. And I thought the first thing I ever wrote was the most incredible thing ever. Turns out it's the worst thing I've ever read in my life.
that's how it
Um,
always goes. I mean, your first thing is always the worst thing you've written because you need that experience. So you're fine.
yeah,
But
no,
you,
absolutely.
hey, but
Um,
writing the first thing is the most incredible experience, though. So that's
yeah,
good.
no, absolutely. And that's the first comic script I actually wrote. I did get artwork for, and it exists physically. Um,
Okay,
well,
do
I
you need
have
to shout out who did the artwork though?
Dan Lauer. We actually met. I don't even know how we met. We met on Facebook, a Facebook group or something. Yeah, and we did the artwork, and I got creators proofs printed up, and then I swept it under the rug for a multitude of reasons. But then I wrote my second one. I had a second idea brewing, and I was binge watching Shameless at the time. And I'm like, man, this would be a killer story if the Gallaghers had superpowers. So I took Shameless and gave them superpowers, and that's when my book Shit Show came to life. And we did the 6 pages for that, and we pitched it around. Hadn't heard anything. Hadn't heard anything. Hadn't heard anything. Uh, completely forgot about it. And one day I was walking. I remember the exact moment this happened. I was walking in the deli to get a. I had my mind set on these amazing chicken tenders, and I was walking in to get like a 3-piece tender with some mashed potatoes. And my phone rang, and it was Scout Comics saying they wanted to pick it up.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh man, I totally forgot about it. It had been 4, 5, 6 months. I'm like, oh man, cool, that's awesome. And then the coolness kind of wore off when I realized that I had to now make that comic and pay for 72 pages of art and colors and letters and stuff. But that was
Oh,
picked up. Scout picked up another book of Mind Keepers of the Cosmos. Um, I managed to get the rights back to both Shit Show and Keepers of the Cosmos, so now I'm just self-publishing those. Those two titles are in what I call the Riot verse. Then, geez, I think I'm up to like 15 issues between those two titles and 3 or 4 more. And then we started this summit thing, and it's taking off real fast.
yeah.
And I have a bunch of stuff in the works for summit too.
So how did that come about? This whole summit thing? Because I mean, you guys, there's Travis, there's Jerome, there's you, there's a big group of you guys. How does that form about? Do you guys say I'm going to work with these other creators to make Summit?
Travis has, I'm not sure if either of you are in it, but Travis, it started on Travis's Discord,
Okay.
the fabled legendary Discord server. We've always talked about, I mean, we're all, I don't know, you call it gritty. I mean, everyone there is very, I mean, you have to have that entrepreneurial mindset to make comics, right?
Mhm.
And it literally just started out of a conversation of pooling resources together, and that evolved into trading. I see Devin's counting, Devin trading editorial tasks for maybe design work on a Kickstarter, or maybe some character turnarounds for design work or editorial. And then that kind of jumped over to, well, hey, we all want to tell superhero books. Why don't we just all tell them in the same continuity? And um, yeah, it was just born out of us having a conversation. And 2018 of us, I think there's 18 partners
Wow.
to Summit now. We made Discord server number 2 where we organized, and believe it or not, we've come out with something. We came out with that sneak peek and Thanksgiving, Christmas time, and Summit Pinnacle 1. I don't know what I could say, but I mean, it's pretty close to being done. Jerome's in the comments too, and when he's supposed to be working on the print file for that.
Uh-oh, Jerome.
But no, that's Summit Pinnacle number 1's very close to completion. I think that might be nearing like 120 pages or so. But that's very much the launching pad to this universe. I think we have, well, I mean, it's all the partners
Okay.
have a story in it, so there's at least 18. Is there 18 stories? Yeah,
Now,
it's a
is
big chunky magazine.
is this Devin person also in one of the people?
Devin Arscott is our editor in chief. Yeah, he
Okay, he's
writes Noir.
okay.
Um, so yeah, actually, Noir and C.J. Hudson's Granite were actually in the interconnected the way it is, or the way it was, I guess. So those two, and then Travis's Upheaval, kind of set the what do you call it, the foundation of where we're going. Then those were the only 3 existing characters so far. Every other character is entirely new.
I think that's admirable, man. A lot of people talk about um, getting together to make comic books, but very few people actually do it, and do it as well as y'all. I think y'all have some specific pieces that really caused a big impact. Yourself, and I know you are a marketer, and I know that Travis can make a dang on anthology. If he can't do anything else, he can put together
Yeah.
an anthology.
That
Um,
man can make a group.
yeah, right. Um, but like I said, I saw some of the interviews that y'all did a while back, and it's just an interesting cast of characters. So this all being one universe, is there? I wonder, is there somebody that you would consider the editor of the Summit Comics or the Summit universe?
So yeah, so Devin's our editor in chief. I'm chief creative officer, and we're very much working in tandem. Like I said, we have 18 partners, so pretty much every writer has kind of their foot in the game. But no, Devin is leading us editorially. Editorially, yeah, that's a word, right?
Yeah.
He's leading us on that front. Especially when it comes to Summit owned titles. So there's Summit Pinnacle. Last week was it last week. This week, I don't know. This week was a very long year, but earlier this week we officially announced Summit Presents, and that is going to be um, Pinnacle on a smaller level, I guess, in the sense that it's multiple stories in one issue. The first 3 issues are going to be 2 stories, 12-page stories. So when we're done with those 3 issues, then we'll have the 2 standalone one shots, oversized one shots each. So there's three. Summit Presents 1 through 3 is three 12-page parts essentially. So those two are essentially Devin's baby. Um, that he's kind of wrangling everything in there. And we call those the Summit Own book because the solo stuff like I have Dr. Vane live now. CJ has Granite live on Kickstarter. Those are entirely creator owned. They're set in the same universe, of course. Um, but the creators retain all creative control and all that stuff. Then, of course, loop Devin in for continuity purposes and what have you, lore purposes and world building purposes. And
Hmm.
I'm probably making Devin age at a substantial rate because every day I'm pitching 3 or 4 new characters. Marcus, our director, is pitching 3 or 4 new characters all the time. So it's a lot to wrap one's mind around. But yeah, we've got stuff in the works, man. It's just that you guys know how hard it is to make a comic, and us comic creators are, would you say, fickle folk? You know, it's you get a lot of personalities in one room, and it's not always the easiest to make something. But by golly, we uh, we made a comic book. We made a thick, chunky comic book, and then we're making more.
Yeah, man. I think it's like I said, man, it's admirable for sure. But I think the most important thing is that you got people who actually want to make things, and people who, some people who have experience making things, and some people who don't. But then it seems like y'all are willing to share information and help each other with the process, which is 90% of you know the game really. If you got a group of people that are willing to help each other, like I said, I know a few of you have literally put out volumes of works. And then I know there were some that said, it was literally their first superhero, work. So um, I think that's great. And even in the live stream, I was like, I could tell that some people were less technologically connected than others.
Yeah.
There was a lot of discussion about. There was somebody who was like, I don't know how to share a link on Facebook. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And there was Travis like, okay, let me walk you through it. So it's
Exactly.
yeah, I think
Every person brings their skill set to the table. Much like how I don't believe any two stories are the same. I think everyone is on this earth, this planet for a reason, and has some sort of skill they can bring to the collaboration. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the scale we're doing it. In the age of the internet, that's kind of like the catch 22, the double-edged sword. You can meet so many people, and you can form a collective and find like-minded people. And I'm sure that it's not going to be super super easy, but scour these Facebook groups. I think connecting comic book writers and artists is a huge one. Find some, maybe even start in and do a reading group or something. Read each other's scripts, give feedback, or you have a feedback loop that way. But yeah, man, it's making comics is super super collaborative, and I don't think it really helps anyone if you personally stay within your own bubble and try to make everything yourself.
So how scared were you building this with Travis and everybody? Like, because forming a group is going to be hard no matter what, especially when things become lean. How scared were you? Like, this might not work.
So my mindset is do and ask questions later, I guess. I guess you could say it's very liberal at that. Just try it. If it sticks, um, good. If it doesn't, at least you tried. I think that comes up in my by day. I'm a web developer, and when it comes to code, just make the code. It's either going to work or it's not. You know, and I think that I kind of approach most things in life like that. Yeah, there's always sense of anxiety and nervousness. They made Zoloft for a reason. They prescribed it to my brain for a reason. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you can let that sense of failure in the back of your mind consume too much space. Otherwise, you'll never ever get stuff done.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you a little bit about these characters that make up this summit. I think one that jumped out to me and connecting it to what you said earlier about no two stories being the same. There's one that's Cricket Boy, I think it is. What is
Cobalt
the one?
cricket, yes.
Yeah, I think I was like I said, I was listening to one of the live streams, and it was described as basically the same driver from the Ninja Turtles universe and the Daredevil
Hmm.
universe, who who should not be handling hazardous materials. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
you know, dropped off a canister and this young
Mhm.
man got superpowers. But I've always been of the mind, just like you, that yeah, we take homages from things, we take inspirations from things, but we make it our own. We kind of take these stories and put our own spin on them, and they become their own thing, even if they have similar
Mm.
beginnings. That's a big debate right now in the indie community. If you should, you know, a lot of people would frown upon you if you say, hey, I want my story to be Batman, but this, or I want my story to be Superman,
Mm.
but that. Can you speak to the creative process and why you feel like each story is unique, no matter what the
Right.
inspiration?
So if you go back to Brandon Sanderson did or does an annual set of lectures. I don't even know what college it is, but he posted like last year's online. And if you share the same thought process as him, I think he was referencing a different person while talking about this too, but he discussed how there could only technically be seven different fictional stories, right?
Mm,
There's seven things that this can be, and his point was Lion King is just Hamlet, but with lions,
mm,
and you know, like you just said, you got to put your own spin on it. One story I do have, when I was pitching a shit show around, I got the advice um, from a publisher of a different comics company, which is no longer around, mind you. But they said never ever pitch your story as X meets Y. I just kept scratching my head because that's the easiest. You want to make your pitch, your story relatable.
Yeah.
So I was pitching shit show as The Boys meets Shameless or Superman meets Shameless, and
mm,
he said, "Oh, never do that with another publisher." It ended up getting picked up, so someone liked it. You just yeah, just put your spin on stuff. The character I wrote in Summit Pinnacle is Erebron. She is the daughter of Hades. And kind of the thought process behind that was I always default to horror stuff, darker stuff. Justice League Dark is one of my favorite comics of all time. Shadow Pact is great. Midnight Suns, Danny Ketch, incredible
mm,
stuff. That's some of my favorite stuff. So I wanted a darker angle, while at the same time, she is related to Hades, so we do have to look at Greek mythology. And Wonder Woman Historia is one of the best comics ever made. Just incredible work by Kelly Sue and all the writers she worked with or all the artists, excuse me, she worked with on that. So it's just about balancing it and pulling inspirations from here and there. Um, One of my favorite movies ever released is Creature from the Black Lagoon. Um, Creature is the Gill Man is my favorite Universal monster. I've always wanted um, a character like that, but I took that as the basis and put some other things into them. I'm trying not. I'm trying to explain it, but not give up too much because I already put myself in the corner because I'm not supposed to be talking about him yet. But I
It's
combine the
just the three of
Gilman.
us here. There's nobody else
I know there's
watching.
nobody watching.
Nobody
The
watching.
Gilman with a couple other heroes for an end result that I'm super super excited about. And we just got the art done on that, and we haven't even announced the story yet. Um, yeah, I think that might be my biggest piece of advice. Write what you want to read. You know, why not? You know, all of another good source of inspiration, believe it or not, is kind of nihilistic, maybe, or very pessimistic. Um, is that some days I'll get ideas of how I would write Batman, or how I would write Iron Fist, or how I would write Damon Hellstrom. And the pessimist in me is like, well, Marvel hasn't called me yet, so why don't I just create an original character to write the story? You know, and that's another. Um, that's Moonspawn and the Defenders of the Dark. Knock. I think Brad in the comments just mentioned Knock. I will drop a Four Tales exclusive shortly after this, but yeah, no, Knock was like very much. Hey, if I ever got the shot to write Green Arrow, this Green Arrow or Hawkeye. You know, this is what I do. But Nicholas Santos did turn in the final pages of Knock number 3, so we'll be coming out with that. We're going to do the Kickstarter for Knock 3 and the trade at the same time, so that first volume will wrap up
Nice.
hopefully this early summer.
Well, there you go, Brad. There's your answer.
There you go, Brad.
So is not it's not gonna be part of Summit, because I heard Travis also say if you got more than, what was it? He said if you got more than 3 issues, you can't be part of Summit, or it was something like that. If you got more,
So the our rule of thumb is if your character has more issues than the number of Summit Pinnacles out, we don't want to absorb them quite yet. So we don't want a character to have 12 issues and we only have one pinnacle or something, you know. So if you're early on in that character's development process, you know, where there's some ends, you know, if you only have a one shot done or something like that, you know, at this point, that's something that probably would interest us, or at least the door is open, you know. Just so we already have so much in the works with what we have, you know. But we are cognizant of wanting to expand and add more people and add more stories and add more characters. We just have to. Yeah, Devin said Knock can't join Summit, so that's all his fault. Knock's going to remain in the Riotverse for now, but
Don't
I can
worry.
always strong arm some people.
Danny's asking just so he can bring Ace Blade into Summit. That's all he's asking. That's why he
don't
brought
think
it
I
up.
didn't think about it. Don't think I didn't think
Ace
about
Blade
it.
has 10 issues, so that's impossible now.
I was gonna say Danny's like, man, I shouldn't release Ace Blade number 27.
No. But no. Back to what you were saying earlier, though, the creative process, man. I think me and Kyron have had this conversation on the show. Like, I think one of the things that hurt mainstream comics is that I think they tried to take stories that weren't, really Batman stories, or they took stories that weren't really Wonder Woman stories and forced them into that character so that it would sell, and it really watered down, the it really watered down those properties. I think if they would have taken the chances to, if they would have.
Hey, Devin, I have a character called Club Bat. If you want to bring him into Summit, it's
Yeah,
exactly like Ace Blade, just he uses bats instead. It's totally fine.
Doesn't have any issues yet. No, but I think that they, if they would have taken a chance and made some of those, Marvel and DC made some of these stories original characters, then we would have a lot more. We could have a lot more characters now than just the big three carrying everything. So yeah, I think that's why indie is doing so well right now. Is people want these good stories, and they don't care if it's Batman or whoever that the story is attached to.
Right. You know, it's cyclical too. You know, if you like I said, if you think, agree with Brandon Sanderson's standpoint that there's only 7 original stories you can tell, look at a character like Spider-Man who's been around for decades. You've blown through all of those 7 stories, and now you're telling the same stories with new writers for the 4th or 5th time. You have editors who are now wanting creatives to tell the same stories they read growing up. It doesn't make sense. You have to balance the new characters with the old. You can't be afraid of new projects. I mean, all of us here know how hard it is for retailers to get on board with indie and small press, right? Because we're not Amazing Spider-Man. We're not Detective Comics issue 1027. You know,
Not
but at
yet,
the
at
same
least.
time, not yet. Not yet. I better crank up my output. Um, but the world can very much exist with both Detective Comics 1027 and with Summit Pinnacle #1. It's
Yeah.
not. It doesn't need to be black and white. It can be gray.
There's enough space for everybody. That's what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
Okay. Devin, no, you can't be in Ace Blade. He already has too many things planned down the line. We don't need any more help right now. So don't message him, Danny. I can see what you're doing. Don't be messaging him.
It's too late. It's too late. Um,
Damn it, dude.
but no, nah, man. I think it's great, man. Summit. So, but I am gonna ask you, man, as somebody who's been learning marketing, um,
Mhm.
I have had to learn everything that I've learned, just through trial and error. And now, kind of like you, I'm gonna try it. If it works, I'm gonna keep doing it. If it doesn't work, I might try it one more time. But
Mhm.
marketing in
Or 3
comics,
times or 4.
yeah, or five, until I run out of money. But marketing in comics is so weird with social media, that like some things that worked, just a year ago, nah, it might not work right now. Some
Mhm.
things that worked, for you a lot, aren't working. So where are you at when it comes to marketing comics? Like, what are some things that really worked for your summit campaign? And what would you give some advice for other creators?
So not to self promote too much, but I did write a pretty exhaustive piece on my Substack, meltdownpress.substack.com, about pitching your stories to press. So in 2014, I think I started volunteer writing for a website called MCU Exchange, and I was just writing like news pieces on. Um, MCU movies, and then that led to a paid freelance gig with CBR, and I was there for a little bit until I actually got a part-time job with comicbook.com, which turned into a full-time job with comicbook.com for 8 years. So I took what I learned from there and did it on the opposite side. I fielded many coverage pitches from comic book creators and learned what makes it click. And unfortunately, comics purists, it's a game. To get views, to get people to click on your stuff is a game dictated by Google and our tech overlords, and you have to play the game to win the algorithm. And it sucks, and I hate it, but you got to do it because that's how it is, and it's
Yep.
probably never ever changing. Um, we pitched,
Especially
yeah, no, absolutely, and but yeah, it's I go into in depth on there. You have to play the clickbait game, whatever you can do to aid the writers and the editors of the comic press sites decision making process. Think of angles um, that would make readers want to click into the article and share that with the people you're pitching your stories to.
Mhm.
Digital marketing is something you can never become a master of just because it changes so frequently. It's something that's continually evolving. Um, the Google the Google algorithm changes way too frequently. And it's just something you have to stay on top of. So you just stay on top of it. There's a what's it called? Social Media Examiner does like email blasts that sends tips and tricks to your email. The internet has everything you could ever want. You know, go on YouTube and search videos. Um,
Sure.
go on, uh, go wherever and find whatever. I know that doesn't answer anything, but you have to be willing. The thing about making indie comics is you are a writer. Oftentimes, you're an editor if you don't want to pay folks like Devin. Uh, you are a project manager, organizing all the pages from that. You're a director, you know, giving input to the artist. You are also a marketer. You're also a publisher. You have to look through different page stocks for your comic, what kind of cover you want. And you have to be willing to do it all, and you know you kind of have to be in it.
Yeah.
um you gotta want it.
And,
That's about it.
and
You have to.
let's be honest, you do all that for very little money. And yeah.
If
What,
any,
you get little money. I I would be happy with little money, man. I would be very happy with that. And that's um yeah, it's some people are driven by the idea uh, of the option, the IP option, the Hollywood option.
Yeah.
Um, but so, like I said, 15 issues I've done, self-published. So about 20 between self-published and direct market published, and I still get like super emotional. I still get goosebumps every time comps come in or the comics come in. It's just incredible that something that came up here, not only did someone want to draw, sure, I paid them to do it, but they drew it, and then someone else put their colors on it, and someone else put their letters on it. It's just an indescribable feeling. I always tell the story about uh, someone coming up to my table at a convention, and they drove to the con just to get my book signed. I'm like, this is insane. Should you go take pictures with those anime actors, those anime voice actors or something? You came here for me?
You came.
That's crazy.
Jason Momoa's over there. Why aren't you talking to him?
I tell it all the time. There was a kid at the second convention I ever went to in Durham, North Carolina. The first year we didn't even have comic books. We just had posters, and we had some T-shirts that we had ironed on, like drawings of. The next year that we came back, this kid wore that shirt to the convention.
Nice.
And came looking for the comic book because I told him we would have it. And
Awesome.
I'm still chasing that high from that feeling that I had that second convention that I ever had. I was like, this kid could have put Wolverine on, or anybody, and he decided to put on an Ace Blade T-shirt. So I know, Kyron, you got one more question before we go to quick takes.
Yeah, and it's a pretty easy question. I mean, what do you guys want the legacy of Summit to be?
It's not an easy question.
I think if you ask all 18 partners, you'll probably get 18 different answers. I mean, I'm sure some people are involved for the community. Someone else might be involved for the chance to get money sometime. Maybe.
You already said there's no money in comics. What do we do?
Right. I mean, look, there's a chance. There's a chance. Our Kickstarter did do much better than any of us thought.
Yeah.
Someone might be in it to tell just superhero stories. I mean, I don't think I've honestly thought about that question until you just asked it.
That's right.
If I had to say the first thing that came to mind, I don't know. Nothing's in my mind. That's great. I would say, I mean, the community's great. The community, the support's been great. The collaborative effort's been great. just the ability that we're building something, the involvement, I guess, that we're building something together, and there's land to tell some pretty crazy stories. And Devin hasn't told me no on anything yet.
There you go.
But no, like Devin just said, yeah, it's a passionate environment, which leads to passionate discussions between passionate people. But we've made it through every single one of those discussions. Nobody's quit yet. We've been doing this since July, and we haven't had a single person quit yet. Knock on wood. We're still here. My hairline's gone back an inch, but we're still here, man. We're still here. We're still making comics, and I hope that's the case for quite some time.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Kyron, I'm ready when you are, man. Let's do this quick takes. All right. If you haven't seen the show before, Quick Takes is a rapid fire Q&A session where we grill our guests on their deepest, darkest secrets from the internet. These questions are just designed for our listeners and viewers to get to know you a little bit better. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you 5 questions. We're going to have 45 seconds each to answer.
Okay.
Off the top of your head.
I feel like we should change that to 67 seconds now. I don't know why.
Oh no!
Why not? No, 45 is enough.
Yeah, there you
go. And here we go. Question number 1. What do huckleberry haunts taste like?
Huckleberry. Man, you guys do research. That's crazy. That's one of my favorite variant covers we made. So Huckleberry Haunts is a variant cover in the style of monster cereals I did for House of Haunts. And then we did that 2 years ago, and now I don't want to say it was my idea, but now is it what's Jeff Johns imprint at Image? Aren't they doing like cereal monster variants or something? I don't know. Huckleberry Haunts taste magically delicious, but please don't sue me, Lucky Charms.
They're magically delicious. Okay.
Yeah, time to spare.
I'd love to have a box of Huckleberry Haunts. I don't know what a huckleberry is, but it sounds delicious.
I don't know either. I searched fruits that start with H, and that was the first one that came up.
There we go. Okay. Question number 2. And this is another marketing question, but what are the similarities and differences between marketing for comics and marketing for city council?
The city council stuff makes. Oh, gee. How's someone supposed to answer this in 45 seconds?
That's what I tell him all the time. He makes up these questions.
Marketing for, I was going to say marketing, your city council platform is going to better people's lives, but you can quite literally better someone's life through storytelling as well. So I guess that would be my answer. You can, that's a non-answer, but.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. All right.
Fish says,
yeah, they don't get harder than that, do they?
Yeah, they get harder than that. That's what she said.
A more intense, wild version of a blueberry. They're pretty tasty. Okay. See, is that Katrina? Yeah,
that's Katrina.
Okay. We always got some specialists in the audience. Fish says huckleberries are sour as hell. Okay. All right. Question number 3. As we all know, Travis Gibb can put on a mean anthology, and I think it was genius that y'all putting together this book to really launch it with all the creators. But why wasn't the first book Summit versus Cthulhu? And when are we going to get a Summit versus Cthulhu?
It's crazy. I don't think anyone's ever even brought that up. Believe it or not, I'm not sure we've ever had that conversation.
Hey, go trademark that right now, Danny. Go trademark it. That way
Our
Travis has to pay
attorneys
us.
will be in contact once that Kickstarter money drops and we can actually pay them.
Go
I'm
trademark
not
that.
sure we've ever had that conversation. It makes sense. It makes a whole lot of sense right now. I think Travis is at Magic pre-release, so he's not watching. But
Okay, that's fine.
damn, that's a good idea. We might, someone just might have.
We're launching that tomorrow on Kickstarter. Cthulhu versus Summit. Fish Lee's gonna draw it. We're gonna make up a character named Summit. Oh yeah,
No.
sorry. Cthulhu Invades
Damn.
Summit is what it is, not versus.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Cthulhu Invades Summit from Bequest Studios coming tomorrow.
No. We'll if y'all do it though, we'll get me and Kyron will do a club bat. We'll do a club bat short in there or something like that. That would be great.
I think Devin's ready to trade the job for an Ace Blade short right now. So I'll let you two work that out. You guys figure that out.
Oh shoot. Okay. All right. Question number 4. I know that the state of the world or of the United States has been grim these past years. But do you think? Because I think comic books can save the world, but do we think that comic books can save democracy, and how?
I'm not sure if comic books. Sure, why not? I've said comic books can save a life. Why can't comic books save democracy? I'm working on. I dropped a question into the into our Discord, our editorial chat channel last week about how gory I could get when it comes to Nazis. So that kind of involves one of the stories I'm currently telling. So maybe, yeah, I think comics could save democracy. Something better, fucking do it real quick. So that's all I know.
We definitely need some help. No, I think comic books. I know for me personally, and for Kyron, comic books have and these superheroes and characters have definitely influenced the way that we think and the way that we see the world. And I definitely think that comic books can and are usually very timely at doing so. So, last but not least, question number 5, and I might get you in some trouble here. So,
Okay.
But just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, outside, usually we do a top 5 list for the 5th question. To shout out our old show, Top 5 Live, that we used to do that we haven't done.
Old show. That was not my show.
So off the top of your head, I want to know, besides the big ones, I want to know what right now are your top 5 comic book imprints.
Oh man, top 5 comic book imprints. So we're talking like Ghost Machine.
Yeah,
is that what we're talking about? Oh man, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I have a top 5. The past 6 months, in all honesty, have been largely me reading DC Comics and Black Label. In the Kickstarter stuff. So if I had to list top 5 imprints, Meltdown Press, Orange Cone Productions, Request Comics. Is that right? Is that what you guys?
I'm with you.
Devin's Epic Fantasy and I ran out of time. 5 Warren Everyone Comics by CJ Hudson, because those are the 5 that popped into my mind first.
There we go.
Small Press or Die. Jeff Johns and Ghost Machine do not need your money. Robert Kirkman and Skybound do not need your money. G.I. Joe does not need your money. Transformers don't need your money unless they need to get the radiator fixed or something like that. So small press or bust.
He's right. He's 100% right. But Mad Cave, I'll say Mad Cave and Ignition Press, they're doing some good stuff though.
I have not read any Ignition stuff. I love their, speaking of like branding and marketing and stuff, I love the way they rolled stuff out. I haven't watched or read anything like that. Oh, duh. Adam, EC Comics. I've read every single EC Comics release from Oni Press, and it's just incredible work.
Okay.
How did that escape my mind?
There's a lot out there to choose from.
There's something.
That 45 seconds gets everybody,
Yeah.
man. Don't worry about
Right.
it.
Danny's like, name your 5 favorite kids in 45 seconds, and
name your 5 favorite. Yeah. I like Jerome's response there. He says Cthulhu Invade Summit will be the end of the Cthulhu verse. Ooh, that's tough right there. I like that.
Okay.
We appreciate you. The quick take is brought to you by 5-Star Comic Con. I don't know exactly how many days it is away right now, but it is in the summer.
You have one job to figure.
I didn't pull it up, Kyron. I'm sorry. I'm not prepared. But it is June
113.
113 days away.
113.
There we go. So y'all make sure y'all check us out at 5-Star Comic Con. Me and Kyron will be there, and we'll be doing a live. Hopefully, we'll be doing a live Foretales podcast episode there. So, all right, back to you, Kyron.
I still need to get my plane ticket to Ohio.
Yeah, you know them tickets gonna go up.
No, they say it's like you're supposed to wait 2 months before your flight goes out. That's the best time price wise. But anyways, Adam, we appreciate you being on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, no problem. Thank you. And this is like really last minute, so thank you for being on. But we want to make sure our followers and our listeners keep up with you and Summit, but primarily you. So where's the best places online for them to do that?
Coincidentally, the best places you can find me are at readsumm.it or kickstarter.com and search. So if you go to that link right down here, it will actually go to a page that has every live Summit Kickstarter campaign and every pre-launch page. So if you go on that, you can click every single link. All 3 windows will open. You can follow so you don't miss a single notification when any of the campaigns launch. We have 2 live right now. We have 4 coming up in the next 2 months. So it's we're off to the races. 3, 4, is that a new thing or what?
No, I just thought you were about to keep adding on. So
5, 6. No,
Yeah,
it's eventually, we'll have that much. But no, thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Danny, where can people check you out?
If you want to find me, the best place to go is our website, fourthwallpros.com. And if you want to get with me on the internet, it's at the Ace Blade on all social media platforms. Kyron, where can people find you, sir?
You can find me at tourscomics.com. I am at all social media platforms at Tours Comics. And this is the first time you've ever checked out our podcast. You can go to our website. That is foretalespodcast.com. The number 4, TALES podcast.com. You can listen to our previous episodes. You can buy merchandise, support us, all those good things. Join us next week, though, where we will have Thaddeus Williams from Concrete Comics on to talk about his book. Oh, one last thing. Tomorrow is the last day of February, so if you guys have not done so already, check out our YouTube, TikTok, and our social medias, the at Foretales Podcast. Tomorrow is the last day of our Black History Month Comic Creator Spotlight. If you haven't seen the past 27 posts I've done, please listen to them. I spend a lot of time on them, and I'd like for you guys to check it out. But anyways, until next time, everybody, sayonara, goodbye, and please take care of yourselves.
Music provided by my brother, Quix Made It. Find him online in YouTube, Instagram, and SoundCloud.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.